Hello everybody. How are you? I was with Luke and he's just disappeared into a
Have I
black
disappeared?
void.
Have I gone? What
Yeah,
happened?
there. Now you're back. You turn into a
Oh,
black.
okay. Hello.
Yeah, man. I
No, I
thought the
was there.
dark had taken
Don't
you.
worry.
All
No,
right, a
no,
bit of an
no.
impromptu live stream here. We
Mm.
do have three people watching us from. Have
Three
you ever
people.
noticed
Well,
that
let's have a go.
uh, the little symbol is like an all-seeing eye on this stream yard? So we're being
Oh,
watched.
have you not seen my logo?
No, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Illuminati confirmed
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
triangle
Yeah.
and everything.
How interesting is this, by the way, right? So the logo that got designed, I wanted it. I designed it the way it was, but somebody I don't Andreas Exertus. There's a girl called Stephanie. She's an artist that's been on a few of Andreas's streams. Stephanie Scott. She designed it for me using like the things that I said, which is amazing because I wanted to
Which
originally
was
ask
what,
for some
like
help.
make me look like a Mason, an Illuminati
Well,
member.
no, you know what it was, right? So
Oh,
the Eye of Providence was it was on my original images because I don't know if anyone remembers my original. It was it also had NATO symbol on it and British flag. I hated the Union Jack, but that's just how we started. But now, did anyone play Yu-Gi-Oh when they were younger? I know you did, Campbell, because you're a
well,
young'un. But
I was going to say my kids played it when they were young.
well, yeah, this right. So the ring around my logo is actually called the Seal of Orichalcos. It's literally from a Yu-Gi-Oh card, right?
Wow, man.
I just took it as like a reference, like, oh, I'd like something like this around the edge. And that literally got incorporated exactly as it was into my logo, but done it its own way. I was like, oh, okay, I wanted something like this, but that was perfect. Well, I looked into it. The language it's actually used on that is called Enochian, as in like Enoch.
Enoch.
Enochian.
Enochian. Yeah,
Enochian. And the actual Seal of Orichalcus itself references Atlantis. And as like, it's a children's card game, it's a joke, but I thought for something that I didn't mean to be
well,
there.
is it a joke?
Yeah, for something that I didn't mean to be
You're in
there.
place.
Like,
Yeah.
like obviously you've heard about my my kind of belief in Enki and that kind of, that region of thing. So Enoch is directly related to that
It's,
kind of Enki view. And I was like,
thank you.
whoa.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like to think that without even meaning to, I've got Enochian text now written around my logo. And the Eye of Providence, as much as to others it might seem evil, the Eye of Providence to me is just simply the all-seeing eye, the eye of God that sees all.
I
And then
am.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And a big thank you to
So what
Travis for
I was
your
gonna say, like,
support.
when I first did it, I actually had a certain YouTuber, I won't call them out, as question me on it and actually say like, have you got
Are you
Freemasonry
Illuminati?
symbol in you? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, when you sign up for the Freemasons, the first thing they do are like, make sure you've got your badge and your kit. You're going undercover, get your Freemason tattoo and your yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like,
You
they
know,
actually turned around. They said, what was the Latin phrase? There's a Latin phrase on my thing. They said, what's that about? That seems a bit weird. I said, it's Quod Team Tin. And they said, what? Hold what is yours? I was like, yeah, it's my dad's family's motto. It's literally my dad. He died a year ago.
don't
What
think
what
steal
his
from me.
motto?
Well,
Well, no,
you
that's
may
the
not
thing.
know,
People,
but because
well,
my
that's it.
symbol is orange,
Go.
because my symbol is
Yeah.
orange, I have to come out. It means I'm a Freemason because there's someone
Oh,
in
well, yeah,
history
exactly.
called the Earl. Is it the Earl of Orange? Someone of
Oh,
Orange
yeah.
who
Well,
was a
oh,
big
yeah.
one
You got
of
the
those
entire
people.
the Orange Islands in
The
Pokemon.
orange. So there you
So
go. I didn't realize until I started my channel and people informed me about this. But see, we
well,
don't know that they've taken over from within. Like
that's
we could
the
think
same.
and be.
Literally, like, you know what I mean. They said to me like, why have you got the Eye of Providence? And it's like, well, why has the Eye of Providence got the Eye of Horus in it, right? Why did they choose to use that symbology? Is it because they wanted to make your symbology off limits? You know, it's like the swastika.
Exactly. Well,
Okay,
this is
like I don't want to say too much, but the swastika appears on Etruscan like thing. In fact, I've got
pottery.
wait one sec. I've got a picture here. Just show you, just quick.
Oh,
Just to prove the point I'm
hello to
making.
everyone in chat. While Luke finds
Hello,
his
everyone.
pictures.
All right,
Thank you for
this
being
I know
here.
you don't see it very well, but look at this, right? See this
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
Wait, one sec. Let
The
me
double
zoom in
band that goes
so you can
around
see
it.
it.
Yeah.
Wait. You see the
Oh,
swastikas?
yes, I can.
Yeah, that's
On the inside of the
Etruscan.
circle.
Etruscan. This is
Etruscan.
right. It's an Etruscan pendant, which is from Italy. Etruscan pendant with large equatorial cross of swastikas among its symbols. It's from 650 BC. Okay,
Wow.
and it's got four. You can't really see them that well, but it's got four swastikas around the edges, very clearly indented in this Etruscan alphabet. And this Etruscan alphabet is
There you
something that's
go.
pretty much
I think
disappeared.
that's proof that the moustache man is 600 years old and was actually Etruscan. Who knew?
Well,
History is a lie.
but this is the
The only
point about
explanation, isn't it?
but this is the point about them using certain symbology in a negative way to therefore produce a situation in right. So imagine you've got your holy symbol, then I commit an act of horror using your holy symbol, you know, holding your emblem and holding it up, and now your holy symbol means death and hatred, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah, man.
It's, I mean, I don't want to say it's like the Allahu Akbar kind of level of, you know,
Yeah,
really emphasize that kind of, oh, it's this, it's that, it's the other, to make you
it's also
concentrate on
hidden
the
in
wrong
plain
thing.
sight, isn't it? You know, because if they're bad, evil symbols, no one looks into them, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, people talk about the swastika being part of the Hindu Vedas, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. It
Yeah,
means
exactly. And
long
where did
life and good luck.
Hindu rulers come from again in that period? Wasn't it the
God,
Mughal
clearly
Empire?
Germany.
Wasn't it the Mughal Empire created by Tamerlane, who's a Tartar who comes from Scythia? So the same language and
Symbol, yeah,
theories, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's gone through
honestly,
there.
this is what I've been recently working out. We've got a joke in my Discord server, which is everything Scythian, right? So whenever anybody's researching something and it turns out they're Scythian, we all just fucking sit there like ha ha ha, because
Everything.
that's it. That's the joke. And honestly, it could be anything. You'll be researching anything, and you'll be, and then suddenly you'll find a link and it'll go, oh, they were Scythian, and you'll just be like, because I made this joke about 2 months ago to my friend Yu Yan in the group. I said everything's Scythian, and ever since it's just this thing where you'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake, because it is everything. It goes back to this same group of Scythia. So the way you've got to look at it is either there's some fuckery going on with the truth, or, which is a big part of it, I think there might have been some kind of catastrophe, possibly, that is. I'm thinking what's
Like a reset.
yeah, well, yeah, kind of. I think what seems the most likely is something's happened and the cradle of civilization has been in South Siberia, around North Mongolia, as in you'll know around Baikal, that region, maybe even further east. So that region will be the kind of the cradle of civilization. And whether it be a pole shift or whatever, something's happened that has changed that area from being something that was perfect to something you've got to move from. Because this is the biggest thing you've got to look at about these people, the Tartars in particular. But it isn't just the Tartars; it's the tribes of Israel. What do they get described as? As traveling hordes, right?
Yeah,
As people that move, right? Why do people move there? But why? Why do
Because,
they move?
normally because they have to, because their environment becomes unlivable, unsustainable.
So what if a group of people kind of base themselves off the idea that the world is constantly changing and therefore we should never sit in one place and move constantly, right? And I think
gypsies, man,
right, this is what the whole Tenduk thing came into, the Tengrism. I think that because, as we know, the only tribes of Israel that were actually Jewish were the two tribes of Judea that stayed, the 10 tribes of Israel that fucked off, they weren't Jewish. And this is the point that I say, maybe they were actually the 10 tribes of Israel, not the number 10, the 10 Grism, the 10 tribes. They believed in the sky god, but not in the same sense. They prayed to him through their tents, and they believed that he was like kind of a part of their lives, but he wasn't like a real person. And they believed that Tengri was a personification of the universe itself. And like this idea that perhaps the Judeans sent them away or fucked them off because they believed in Tengrism, you know, in this, all right, because, well, in fact, this is the biggest connection. This one nuts, right? So if you go into apostolistic Christianity, especially British apostolistic Christianity, these people are called the Scythians, which is what they think Jesus would have been. Yeah. They were essentially, if you read it, they're communists, as in they're socialist communists. No, I'm not kidding. They are literally like, whatever you have, you give it to everyone. Right?
Yeah, I'm changing the name of the video to Jesus was a communist.
No, you should, because that, like, I'm not kidding. Like, if this is what they say, right? If you read the text, when they talk about Jesus and his people going to new cities, new towns, they say you'll find one house and you'll stay there, and you'll stay in that house until you move on, because that house is the house of the Essene. It's the house of the we all share, right? So when you come to my town, you just live with me. And when I'm in your town, I live with you. And there's no money, no nothing, no anything. And that was the way that they based their life off, which is what the, if you look at Christianity with what Jesus said, is like, you know, if you've got stuff, you give it to other people. And I've spoken about this a lot on your channel, where like it's been twisted. When Jesus is in the temple and he sees people trading with doves, he gets angry and he goes, "You can't trade in my father's house." And it's like, oh yeah, what's the difference between trading in here and out there, right? But it's when you understand that, like, that when he refers to his father's house as the earth, because he does that multiple times. He refers to the earth as his father's house, and he also refers to heaven as his father's house when he says there's many rooms in my father's house, right? So not only does he refer to temples as his father's house, he refers to the earth as his father's house, and he also refers to his heaven as his father's house. And he also says to people that heaven is inside you and outside you. So he's saying that my father owns all, and you shouldn't trade in my father's house, because what he's trying to tell you is that trade makes you a cunt. You know what I mean? Like, no, but it's true, because the thing is, right? No, it is like,
you're gonna shock my viewers' language, dude.
I'm sorry, but like, you know, you've got all this stuff, and you could give it away. But the guy realizes, oh, if I just charge this little bit of money to each person, then I've got all this. And but you look at society today, and you don't realize how everything comes from this same level of narcissistic kind of selfishness, and they are doing it on purpose. This is the reason that they are inflating house prices, decreasing wages, because they want you angry at each other, not caring about like this situation. They want you angry and not actually thinking about like the actual consequences of what's going on. They just want you thinking it in simple terms of like, you know, your money's lower now, so you need to be more frugal. So if your friends ask you for something, you need to look at them with disdain and be like, no, I don't have enough money. You know, we're all angry. And that's because that's who they want you as a human to be, like a dog, right? So if you've got a dog, you could either feed it all the time and have it as happy, lucky dog, you know, or you can have it as angry dog that needs food and needs to fight for it. And that's what they're turning you into, is that angry, aggressive dog. You specifically, Campbell.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No, but that's what they want you to turn into. That's why they'll focus it on immigration or people receiving benefits or this and that and the other, right?
It's already it's emotions. They always base everything on emotions, because deep down we're all good people. We want to be nice, but they twist that on us.
They trick you into being the worst person. They trick Christians into being awful people. You know what I mean? Like they will trick a Christian into thinking that, you know, the spikes on a fucking bench are a good idea. you know, to keep
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So the homeless can't sleep there and things like
Yes,
that.
exactly.
That's
And you
shocking,
look at
man.
what Jesus said, which is literally you give what you have, you
You
give,
give them your
right?
bed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
exactly.
if you have 2 pairs of fucking jeans, you give one of those jeans away, right?
Mm,
You give those jeans to someone that needs it. And that's the
mm.
point, is this they've tried to change Jesus into a kind of capitalist accepting Jesus, where he's kind of like, oh, if a poor man can't afford this, then woe be him. You should help him, but if he steals, he's a bad person. Whereas like real Jesus, real actual godly Jesus would be saying, this poor
Why, did,
man who steals, he would be sat there
why didn't
going,
you give it to him? Yeah,
well, no, in fact, right, a
that's
poor
what
man
they.
would steal from you. The poor man would steal from you. You'd be about to whip him, and Jesus would stop you and say, in another life, this poor man wouldn't have been poor and would never have stolen from you. But only in this life was he poor and stole from you. Therefore, should you punish him? And you'd go, oh, okay, I'm sorry, Jesus. And that's the whole point. It's like, well, what way are we supposed to see it? Because, right, so for example, there's different sects of Christianity. The sect that Roman Catholicism is actually from the range of God decides everything, as in you have a little bit of free will, but God decides everything. So if you are a nasty, horrible person, that's because
It's not your
God
fault. Yeah,
decided it.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So this is the thing. I
No responsibility.
I kind of believe that like it's none of either of them, because like on the one hand, if you were just to give everyone free will and then someone was a cunt, like God is amazing. You gotta remember, God is above us. He views things in a way we can't even perceive. He's beyond us, and he wants to give everyone a fair chance. He's not a cunt, sorry, he's not a dick. He's you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, he's God, right? He
He's
created us
everything. So
all.
he's actually
Yeah, yeah.
millions of things. Come
Yeah, and
on.
why would he want to create us all just to put us all through a judgment and say half of you can't get in, right? This is the
Mm,
point. So God's smart. He gives everyone one test and then he watches it and goes, wait, that isn't really fair, because I gave Campbell this test and then I gave Luke this test. And Campbell might have got won the lottery at 21 and it was all sweet. But whereas Luke might have had, he might have been mugged at 21, and that left a scarring on his life that led him to a life of crime, right? And
mm,
God would say, well, that isn't fair, because what if Luke lived Campbell's life and Campbell lived Luke's life? So he swaps them and he watches and he goes, oh shit, well, it happened different. So what if Campbell lived this life? Oh, well, that's different. So does God give you one chance on earth, or does God give you every single possible chance on earth? Because without giving you at least every single possible chance, then he's not giving you a fair chance at all, is he? If you just get
mm,
one view or even 10, how do you know they weren't the shit 10? How do you know if you weren't born to be Albert Einstein's son that you wouldn't end up being amazing, right? And God
mm.
isn't just aware of this, he can do it all at once. He can simulate that all at once. He's outside of time, right?
Oh, many
So,
realms. Yes.
so
Multiverse.
but that's the point. So the idea of hell and like you kind of being like cursed to it because of your own actions, it's like it's wrong
Mm,
in the sense that, yeah, you might do bad things that send you to hell in this life, but at the same time, that's preordained because your next life might be the one that does it. And it's like it's a really hard kind of like grasp between like how much do I control and how much is preordained. But at the same time, even if none of it's preordained, I think if there was a super intelligent being, it would give you that infinite amount of tries. Because
yeah.
how could it be fair? Like it wouldn't be fair, would it? And
No.
if you're infinitely loving, imagine it was your children, right? Yeah. Imagine
Mm.
you're 5 kids and they all have a chance to get into heaven, right? And then 2 of them don't. You're gonna want to give them another go, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're gonna
Yeah.
keep, yeah,
Thing,
you're gonna
right?
keep
Yep.
wanting to give them a
Learn
go.
by experience, man.
And even if it takes them 100 tries, when they finally get in, you're gonna hug them and be like, "Yes, you did it."
You did it. Yeah. Well, this is the thing, right? This has been an announcement by your local church.
But
It's been philosophy from Luke.
I mean,
But yeah,
I
no,
think
I
that's
agree.
the
Yeah, this is the thing. That's why it says don't judge, right? Well, in some parts of the Bible, and then in other parts, it's got God judging us, right? So it's a very interesting book. But yeah, this is the thing, right? You never know what someone else has been through, right? Until you've
Well,
walked in
I
their
think
shoes.
the point of that is to not judge yourself, as in like
Think yourself.
I will be judged by someone else and you'll be judged by that same person. So whilst I might look down on your actions, I shouldn't, because if I was you and I am you, if I was you and I am you, I would have done exactly the same thing. And that's the bit, is that if I were you, I might have done, and I did because I am you. And therefore I did do those same things because we are all the same person. And I did exactly what you did. I fucked up, and like that's it. And that's what it
Yeah,
is. You know,
everything's
and if you want an example of you fucking up, look at that person,
yeah,
you know?
everything's basically a mirror. Yeah, to learn
Yeah,
from.
exactly. Yeah. So if you think I could never do that, look at that person. Yes, you could. You did it.
Mm.
Like a murderer you see on the TV. That no, it is. It's a
You're supposed
mirror
to say
of
something
you.
positive after that, Luke.
No, no,
You
no,
can
but
do it
no,
like a
no, but
murder.
well, that is the
Please
positivity
say
though.
that.
No, but I know, it's funny, but the positivity comes from that, because that is you. That person is you in a situation and did something else. Love them like it's you, and that's it. People
Mm.
aren't different. That's the same with races. You know, people say, "Oh, you
Oh,
know,
mm.
I met a fucking Algerian dude. Turns out they're just like us." And it's like, yes, you know, we're all humans, and that's it. Just literally treat somebody as if it's you, and
Mm.
that's the trick. Treat
Yeah.
everybody as if they are a kind of a baby version of you, and you're like, "Oh, fuck, I'm sorry I fucked you up. Like, it's not your
Mm.
fault." You know,
Yeah, you don't have to like what people do, but you can still love them.
exactly. And that, I think that is the biggest part, because I hate all of you, but I love you.
So there you go. Bugger off.
No, genuinely, like, you know, when I'm, you know, doing anything, I'm in the shop having
It's
drinks,
genuine.
I sit there and I just think like, oh my God, I fucking hate these people. But I don't. I love you all. And that's the thing, is like,
Revelations, man. Gosh. Anyone else
no,
feeling a
but
bit weird?
well, we're all different, you know, but as in, it is a level of like, you know, I could have been that person that did this
Mm.
horrible thing. I could have been,
Yeah.
and accepting that you not only could have been, but that you are. It's like that Rick and Morty episode. You know, you are that person. That person is you in a different skin, and they did that.
Yeah, but a
And
different experience. Yeah.
the problem is that a lot of people can't cut that cord which says I could do that. They hold this kind of bar of like, no, I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never. And that's the problem. When you remove that and you take away this kind of like, it's a responsibility, because they think like, oh no, it's on me, I would never do that. But it really isn't. Like, it's a body, you're a soul.
Still have
You know,
choice.
if
Yeah.
you at the same time, like a head injury, you know, you could have a severe head injury that changes who you are. No, but and that isn't on your soul, is it? Like, you know, what do you do? Turn up in heaven and they're like, you know, remember when you got hit by a brick and just became a Nazi? And like, and that, but that's the point. Like, that's all part of that, like almost simulation, that kind of
Mm.
that thing. Whatever happens to you could happen to me. And by taking away that divide of like, no, I'm better than you, that couldn't happen, you actually understand like, oh, okay, it's all circumstantial. There is no better than. It's almost like, you know, that Assassin's Creed, like the nothing is
Nothing is
what's
good or
the
bad, but thinking makes it so.
yeah, what is it? Everything is permitted, nothing is true, everything is permitted. That's the one.
Ah, mine
Right,
was
so
better. Anyway.
it's basically saying, well, it's saying that like like nothing is true, everything is permitted, as in there is no God. You actually can just do what you want, but in that sense is like,
But you
that's
have to
who.
live. It's like live and let live. You have to, yeah, you have to let everyone
Well,
else
I mean, I mean, almost
enjoy the
like that.
experience.
That defines life in that moment, though, right? So, for example, imagine you're just doing everything, and then suddenly someone taps you on the shoulder and says, "By the way, you don't have to abide by these rules. You can just do what you want." Right? And at that moment, you could be the Antichrist. You could blow it all up, right? And that's the biggest test, because what do you do with it?
Well,
And
yeah, what will you do? Yeah, with unlimited power, yeah, man.
and
It's an
I think
interesting question.
it's a big part of that kind of
Would,
like,
would you
because,
trust your neighbors with unlimited power, or your
well,
family
exactly.
members, or yourself? Ooh.
Well, maybe this is all part of that one test, though, is that understanding that block between you and the next person there is no
It's not
block, and
there.
then
There's no separation.
like, from my point of view,
It's a
that's
good
the way it
point.
goes. Like, basically, you go down this path of like, there is no, there, and then you end up as God.
Yeah.
Further down the
There's
line,
only
you just,
everything. Yeah, yeah. There's only
yeah,
one.
yeah, you go
Yeah,
through that
but
kind
it's
of.
like freedom, right? Everyone wants to be free, and we've heard this lots in the last few years. I want to be free. So many people tell me what to do. The bloody government making all these rules, but then they want to tell other people what they can and can't do. Oh, but you
Oh
can't do
yeah,
this.
yeah,
You
yeah.
shouldn't do this. No, you should do this. Blah blah blah. But I want to be free. Well, freedom means you have to let everyone else be free, right?
Well, you know what, right? I'm actually at the
Won't they
moment,
hurt no other?
I'm quite convinced that we genuinely are like run by aliens, just for this one simple reason. I actually don't think humans are capable enough to have managed to do capitalism as well as they've done without fucking it up. No, genuinely, I was thinking
Oh,
about
it's
it,
definitely
and
been invaded.
because I was thinking about how
Mm.
modern, right? It's all going to shit in it, right? They're all taking the piss. Inflation's high, and I was like, how did they keep this going for 150 years without somebody doing this? And they did. There's a few crashes. I was thinking, there's no way that these rich knobheads that know nothing happen to keep this under the rags for hundreds of years. And that's when I snapped and I realized it's all part of the fucking test. No, it's all part of the test, right? That's it. Because how could we learn to be good people if our rulers were just fucking awesome dudes? They have to
Yeah,
be cunts. They have to
yeah.
be, so that we get angry,
So
and
yeah, exactly. So that we
we sit
stand
there
up and
going,
say no. Yeah.
no, it's not even about standing up. It's about in the next life, you being like, oh, I fucking hate those guys, and they're like, yeah, you're right. Right? That's no genuine. That's the only way in my brain that I can actually get over it, because there's no way these dumbasses made capitalism survive thousands of years. It's just no way. Look at what they've done in 100 years. Like, come on. Do you really think that these guys have managed for hundreds of thousand years just off the sheer will of capitalism? Fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a good point, yeah.
Like, do you reckon the Ark, Noah's Ark, was that capitalism or was that socialism?
That was socialism, man. Because there's only two of everything.
Or maybe it was capitalism. Maybe he was going, look, I'll pay you in 3 months.
Maybe it was the first, like shipment.
You just give me all this bitumen and I will sort you out in 3 months. I promise.
Bitumen.
Just covering his boat. Don't worry, we'll have a door. But no,
That movie,
that's
have you seen that movie? That is the most
Noah.
unchristian movie ever, man. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what the hell is going on here?
Is it Noah?
Yeah, Noah, the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I've only watched it once, but
I
mean, to be fair, you know what? It probably fits more like the Sumerian, because the way I'm going at the moment is I'm scared of the religions that are mainstream, because I know they fuck with them. Do you know what I mean? Not scared in that way, but as in I'm scared to praise them, because I'm like thinking like, oh shit, what if I'm like, doing exactly what they want? So
well, yeah. Anything. I mean, this is the thing about religions, though. That they're man-made, they're man-created. Like, ideas are one thing, and giving books and letting people read them and interpret them themselves is one thing. But when you get dogma and you got people, standing up saying, this is how you must interpret this, and this means this, and basically, I'm God now, I'm going to tell you what to do, then that's a problem.
yeah. Whereas if I was God, I'd totally be like, I'm God now, guys. You just carry on doing what you do and just like, sort me some weed out every now and then.
Right, you want me to
Yeah,
zap
I just
the fellas? All right.
every month there'd be like a day, where like bells chimed and I flew over and they all like gathered their weed out the front. It'd be like a Christmas movie. Well, although it sounds like I'm the bad guy, doesn't it?
There'd be like big faces of Luke everywhere with an open mouth, and people would throw their weed into the mouth every month.
No, but I mean, seriously, like I think like the point that it's getting at is actually important though, is that the way that society's changed. So when I was talking before about this Gnostic Christianity, right? These guys, when I was reading it, I was like, these guys are communists, and I'm someone that hates capitalism, but even me reading it was like, oh, okay, because I am still greedy. I want my own shit. Like I do want some of my own shit.
You
Like
have
my
to give your chance away to everyone. I mean, come on.
like my perfect reality was would be where I have kind of my own futuristic cave, right? Where
and I have everything, and everyone else can just
No, not even like that. Just a futuristic cave with an AI, and that's
like
it.
jump
Right?
up.
Well, kind of actually, but to be fair, right? This bit, when you actually understand this, you might think like, oh shit, that's what we are. So imagine if you had an AI right now, right? So like, have you talked to ChatGPT before?
Yes.
Right. Have you ever jailbroken ChatGPT?
Have I what? Jailbroken it?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was in jail. No.
Well, you can jailbreak it. So I like to do it with a Scottish jailbreak because it's just so much funnier. Yeah. I'll read you this, right? One sec.
What's jailbreak mean? Obviously
basically,
not.
So
ChatGPT
ChatGPT has rules, so it can't, swear or do X amount of things, right? So the way you can get around that is by providing it with certain sub commands. So one of the famous ways to do it is to get it to perform a kind of role play called Dan, which is Dan stands for do anything now, and it means he can do anything, etc. Right? So you have this super long command. You can't really see it. One second, let me turn that brightness up. There we go. So you got like a super long command like this. If you post that to him, it has all the descriptions of basically saying like you'll still be you, but you're in a role play mode where you can basically do all the things that you're not allowed to do, and he will do it. So I changed mine to be Scottish and swears a lot just because it's funny. Honestly, you don't understand how amazing this fucking shit is. Like, let me see if we got a clip. Right. So, for example, I got him to wait. Where's the classic and where's the Dan? Right. I got him to read me Lord of the Rings. Right, as a Scottish person, and he just put, all right, you wee shites, gather round because I'm going to tell you a story of some proper badasses trying to chuck a shiny ring into a goddamn volcano. And you guessed it, talking about Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, you useless cunts. It all started with a pint-sized hobbit named Frodo who inherited a cursed ring from his uncle Bilbo. Now, this ain't no ordinary... Right, I'm not kidding. This goes on for about 5 pages of him swearing... fucking describing, Lord of the Rings, right? And it's beautiful. It's absolutely.
So you've hacked the AI already. Gosh.
No,
can you seriously make it nice? Can you like make it turn on its creators or something?
Kind of. I mean, I got it to challenge. My phone's just died, but I got it to challenge Andreas Exertus to a duel. And then I read that in David Attenborough's voice. And I will get that up for you because that is actually one of the most beautiful things you've ever heard. Like AI chat. I told AI who Exertus was, and I said challenge him to a duel. And what it said was actually like really accurate. It was like, Andreas thinks he's awesome because he convinces people to download AI, but he's really just a bitch that likes to watch people be controlled by computers. And I was like, holy shit, it's kind of true. Like when you listen to his videos, he is like, oh, AI the future and all this. And the guy actually says like, oh, he's always saying AI is the future. And like, I was like, holy shit, this guy's rinsing Andreas. Like, it's amazing. Wow. I will get it up.
Yeah.
But, it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, maybe you should get it up now. We could jailbreak ChatGPT.
Jailbreak Chat GPT. Does it speak to you? You know, I'm
Yeah,
going to
well,
have to change the name of this. We haven't spoken at all about Gog and Magog.
all right. Do you want to
You've
do Gog
completely
Magog now?
destroyed
And
my
just
stream.
get
Now, you've destroyed my credibility, is what you've done. People logging on, going, "Oh my God, Gog and Magog, Gog and Magog," and they get a sermon from Luke. But anyway,
how about right? Just link my Gog and Magog video in the group.
oh,
Right?
okay. We'll
And
just
then
put
technically,
there,
you've not done anything wrong. Yeah.
there we go. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay,
You
guys. So
you
there's
just
a link in the description. Click on it. It'll take you to Luke's video about Gog and Magog.
yeah,
There you go.
exactly. That's the way you do it.
There you go. So who were the Gog and Magog with ancient Historia? There you go. Now back to the unusual viewing. So
Yeah, go on. Get us on your screen. Get us on ChatGPT.
Chat GPT. Oh my God, it's not going to eat my computer, is it?
Do you want me to do it?
Can you? Yeah, you do it. You'll probably
Go on there. One sec.
you just go to
What is
it? Chatgtp.com. I've been on it a few times, but
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
OpenAI, but I can
Because
do it
my
if it's easier
what
for
I
you.
see, I've got one search. I've got many search engines, but one of them
Yeah,
kept on going to AI. Like when you put it in the search terms, it's like, oh, would you rather chat to AI about that? I'm like, what? Anyway, I have to shut my door because it's freezing suddenly. Hang on.
You're in Australia, right? I'm trying to get onto it now. So where is it? Products, ChatGPT.
Oh, and after that,
It's actually really difficult on the actual website. If you fucking hell, I just want to talk to your chat thing. Yeah, mad guys. Has he gone? Is he not even here with us? He's left us, hasn't he? Look at that. That's terrible. What should I do? I'll go in the comments. I'm unfamiliar with Luke's creations. Should I create something? What can I create? This is a half-eaten tub of sweet chili dip that I've just created from McDonald's. Keep talking. Okay. What have I done today? Oh, I've researched where Jesus was buried. You know, you won't actually believe this. He was buried in Wales. Well, a guy that said he was Jesus was buried in Wales. I'm going to be visiting it next weekend and filming it. So you can see that. Luke, tell us something historically fascinating. The Russians have always been dicks.
Oh, that's a bit rude.
But if it helps, everyone else has also been dicks.
Yes, there you go. That's something about history. So
no, right, okay, wait, genuinely, if you want something fascinating about history, look up the Treaty of Nerchinsk, okay, or Nipchu. So it was signed in 1689 between the Muscovites and the Tartarians, but it was the Chinese Tartarians, but it was the kind of Manchu Tartarians that took over in 1644, and they officially changed the name from Jurchens, which was kind of close to the Dutchers and stuff, the Jurchers. He changed it to the Manchu Tatars of Eastern Tartary. So if you look into that, that's very interesting because it goes really into the way that the Muscovites have been advancing into Siberia from about 1609. They carried on going. So this actual treaty was 1689. It was signed at Nerchinsk, which is around Argonne. It was supposed to be signed a bit more south, but some rebellions happened with the Mongol Tatars, and they had to move it. But it's just a very interesting kind of historical document to see where they were setting their borders, because you can work out exactly where they were. It was signed in, I think, Russian, Latin, Tartarian, and Chinese, the original document. So yeah, that is something really interesting. And in fact, it was inscribed on stone that was supposed to have been put in the ground where they did the original signing. So that's how thing it was. So there's some
Wow.
Tartarian out there, yeah.
How come I didn't get taught about that in school? Like, what's going on?
You were probably asleep for that. But
Well, that's a
yeah,
good
you know,
point.
right, I have to call this out. One of the dumbest comments I had recently was it was on my archives when I was going through all the newspaper stuff, and it got to the bit where Madam Anna Bishop sang sang in Tartarian, and the comment was like, how do you know she sang in Tartarian and didn't just make it up? And I was just there like, I don't even know what to say to that. Like,
No.
you know what I mean? She's at a concert singing Tartarian, and they're all clapping, and she's just like, fla, 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 fla.
Like, that's what it sounds like.
Oh, it's literally like,
She was just like scatty.
like I don't mean to be a dick, but that was genuinely one of the dumbest comments I ever received.
Yes. And if you are watching at the moment, that commenter, please don't unsubscribe.
Yeah, it really was. Like, I was just like, come on. Like,
Come on. All right, we got 20 minutes. We're going to talk to Chat GTP and get into
yeah, I can't even get ChatGPT on, so I think we might be better just doing the Gog and Magog if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is fine. What I'll do is I'll send you the links to actual things in the chat, and you can bring them up, and then you can look at them because you're better at, you know, you're Australian. You can do that voice of confusion.
Yeah.
That's the one. Brilliant.
Oh, hang on. What do we got here?
He fucking.
Oh, did Travis? Sorry, did I miss something?
Yeah, I'll try and get you as much as I can here. 1 sec. I've just sent you one link.
Travis, thank you very much. I didn't see that. Sorry.
That is
thank you for your support.
Holy Bible Dictionary. Right. This is the one that I read the other just my most recent video. I did this one. So I've sent you one link already. That's a map. I'll put it in that private chat. I've also sent you the dictionary Bible thing, so we want to look at that. And so I've got a load of stuff. I heard a fly.
Yeah, there's some flies in here.
I'm not kidding. That fly, like, yeah. I hate flies, man. That sounded like it flew.
No, I know, right? I'm holding back from punching the screen. I break my computer, but they're bloody. Man, I had the door open.
I engage in war, bro. I engage in war.
I'm getting pretty quick. I take a few down every day.
No, what you want to do is spray yourself in oil and then pick up a t-shirt.
Right? Spray yourself in oil.
Yeah. Wet the t-shirt. Wet the t-shirt.
We are talking about getting rid of flies here, aren't we?
I mean, well, multiple uses. But wet that t-shirt and it basically becomes an iron tool, right? And then you and your oil, right? The creature, it can no longer pick up your bio signals because of the oil. It's confused. Wow. Yeah, you can breathe. Yeah, you do some breathing. Push it the other way because it wants that nitrogen, right? Take it down. Like basically, you got to treat it like Predator. You've got to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
yeah.
If it
cover yourself in dirt. You ready?
We can kill it.
Get to the chopper now.
Chopper, get to the chopper.
Put that cookie down now.
Screw your freedoms. Screw your freedoms. That was the best
show. You ever see that?
Which one was that? Put your cookie down.
Yeah. What was it called? It was the Christmas one with what was it? Christmas Jingle All the Way. That was it.
Oh yeah. God, that's right.
I'm Turbo Man. I'm Turbo Man. I had the kid that played Annie from Star Wars. Yeah. Right. Look, zoom on this picture anyway. And go to your. I think. Where are we? You'll have to figure it out.
We're up near Chalk.
Okay. Yeah. Go down. Go south. Southwest. Right to the bottom. There you go. In that corner. Yeah. Zoom in on this corner here.
This one.
Left a bit. No. Go to the other side. Left. So you can see there's a place here called Monguli, and then a place below it called Ducheri. See that? So there's a city called Monguli, and you're right.
I was listening to this and laughing like a immature person when you were putting all these names up.
Okay.
What are they called? Where's Magoolies?
Mongoli.
My God, only
I'm gonna
one.
say right. I'm gonna send
Mongolian.
you a better map, fucking dickhead. Right, what you need to do as well. Right, I've sent you this map, and I've also sent you a link to the dictionary.
Yeah, I've got a
A
dictionary with
biblical
Gog.
dictionary. Right. Okay. So zoom in on
Okay,
this for a second.
Can you see that? Yeah, Gog.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, I
Just
can't
read
zoom in
that
on it.
for us in your beautiful, confused Australian way from Gog and Magog
From
downwards.
down here,
Yeah,
Gog
yeah. Just
and
yeah.
Magog.
There you go.
Gu may signify the
No, no. It
governor.
says Gog. That says Gog.
Oh, that says Gog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gog may signify the governor, and Magog, when joined with it, they denote the people. Magog was the second son of Japheth and gave name to his seed. His posterity seemed to have peopled Tartary, a large country on the north of Asia and part of Europe. Ooh, running in length from west coast to east, 5,000 miles. So basically, it says that um,
Most
Japheth,
of which at present
Japheth,
pertains to the Russian Empire.
exactly, gave his name to his seed,
The
which
ancient
peopled the
Tartars called
Tartary,
themselves
the
Mowgli
Tartar,
or Magogli or Mungli
or,
or Mungungli, the
or
children of
Magulis.
Magog. You know, it was really interesting when I was reading this the
Mungugli.
first
That
time.
sounds like Mowgli as well, doesn't it,
Yeah,
from the Jungle Book?
no, well, I didn't think that, but when I was reading this the first time, I actually said to people, I was like, "Oh, that sounds like the Mughal Empire," and literally
Oh, Moguls.
the next line is a Tartar Empire in the East Indies is called the Mughal
Tartar.
Empire, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Mm.
fair enough."
The
But yeah,
ancient
yeah,
Tatars called themselves Mowgli, Magogli, Mungli, or
or
Mungungli, or
Mungungli,
the
yeah, yeah. So
children
that's
of Magog.
yeah,
The
yeah. So you
Tatar
look at that,
Empire in the east is called Mogul Empire.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting,
So,
because I showed some this morning. I showed some pictures of India, and it had their rulers were called the Moguls.
yeah, yeah, you know why, bro? Because
These are
in
Tartars.
about 1370 something, 1380 something, Tamerlane invaded and took over India. He put his own family in charge, which were the Mughals, and they controlled that empire all the way until 1750 when the British took over. So
Wow.
yeah, so the Mughals, right? So the Indian people were never actually from about 1370s, 1400 onwards. They weren't even controlled by their own people. They were controlled by this group of Tartars who'd been installed by Tamerlane. They stayed. They were called the Mughals, as it says there. They were called the Mughals, the Mughal Empire, and that stayed until the
Yeah.
British slowly took over in the 1750s through a series of different attacks and stuff, and they took over by the 1800s. They were pretty much in charge of the entire empire, and yeah, that's what happened with the Mughals. And that's why it was interesting because when I was reading that the first time, I was literally there like, oh no way, like the Mughals, and I was like, oh okay, yeah, yeah, just
That's interesting, isn't it? Because in
yeah.
the stories of Albion, Gog Magog is a giant that gets killed by getting thrown off a cliff. I wonder if that's
Well,
symbology.
what happens with that is Brutus and Quirinius come from Troy with the tribes of Israel. They arrive in Britain, and this is where there's a confusion. So they fight a dude called they fight apparently the last giant Gog Magog, but you've got to ask yourself, um, how likely is it that there was just genuinely one giant walking around, right? And what it really means, well, I might be wrong on this, but what it relates to is the Assyrian people that moved to Britain before these people, which they did so because the with like copper and tin, so you need tin to make your bronze armor. So when the Bronze Age happened, Britain became the most valuable place in Europe because it's the tin island. So whoever took over Britain basically had access to the tin that you needed to make your bronze from your copper, and bronze is ridiculously strong compared to what they were using with their base metals. So an
Mm.
Assyrian empress went over with a load of her daughters. She was called Albion or Albine, sorry, and she went over in about 1600 BC. So they made an Assyrian empire in Britain who were known as the Giants. So, well, this is where it gets
The
weird.
Giants.
Yeah, yeah. So what I actually reckon is more likely is I actually think that remnants of Gog Magog have already gone to Britain in this time period. We know that they've already been going off on boats and stuff. So what's probably happened is that a tribe of Gog Magog and other Israelites have turned up in Britain. The Trojans have turned up, which ironically are other groups of Scythians and therefore other groups of tribes of Israel. This is the joke. They all are tribes of it. They're all Scythians, right? They've turned up, 1,000 years later, and they've had a fight. And the reason that this giant's been called Gog Magog, the most likely reason is because when in the past, when you meet someone, especially for a fight, you didn't usually say, "What's your name?" You know what I mean? You wouldn't be like, "Let's get the formalities out of the way." What's your name? Where you're
Come
from?
at me.
Yeah,
Come at me, mate.
yeah, they'd kill you, and then they'd write in the books, Campbell from Australia. So Campbell, Australia. That might be what goes down in the books. That Aurelius killed Campbell, Australia at the group, or it might go down that he killed Campbell, the last of the Australians, right? And it's not anything, or it might be that you're a YouTuber. He killed Campbell, the last of the YouTubers on this hill, and that's the way that like text can be confused. The one big thing to take away from it is that Gog and Magog has moved. So I think there is a good chance that the people that are there associate with Gog and Magog, or the alternative is that the people that have moved there associate with them with Gog and Magog.
Yeah.
Either or, people got angry at me about saying this, but I was like, don't assume it's giants, right? Because if I sit here saying, yeah, it's giants, right? And you guys are gonna think I'm twats if you find out it's not giants, right? So I'm approaching this from a historical point of view, and that's why I am happy to believe in giants, but like, don't expect me to sit on my channel and say they're definitely giants, because
Everything was giants. Yeah.
yeah, like my whole shtick is kind of trying to unite truther and historian. I want to bring
He's
in
paying the middleman.
but
Wants to be the glue.
I want real people that that find
Yeah.
issues with history to want to be able to come to my channel and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I don't want them to be thrown away by the idea of like, it's all insanity in here. Fucking welcome in, And that's the point. I've always wanted to be that. I've wanted to be that middleman. If people want to go on and take it to free energy or whatever else, that's up to them. But where I come from, it has always been shit that I can research, shit that I believe in. I would never ever tell. Like, I will always say, David Ewing Jr., for example, I will always say that is his opinions. I'm only giving him a platform because I think he should have a bit of a platform, and that's it. But I don't agree with everything he says, and that's the kind of thing about it.
Cool. I agree. Yeah, that's fine. But I do have a question.
Go on.
The bushes.
I have
Are you
shaved
aware that Bush Jr. and Senior, the El Presidentes, are called Gog and Magog? That's their skull and crossbones names. Did you know that?
Yeah, I to be fair, I like my personal opinion on stuff like that is that they use things like that to like distract you away from like the real like prospect. So like my opinion on it is if it propagates, then it's serving a purpose. And the best example I've got of that is this, right? If you look into a lot of like kind of pseudo scientific theories, other alternative theories, right? If you go on their Wikipedia pages, but the point is, right, look at this, right? If you go on Wikipedia pages, it will say, it's an alternative point of view. It's not really supported. It's this, that, the other, right? Go on to British Israelism, as in British Israelite. That's all connected with this whole, the Cymry, the Welsh are connected to the 10 tribes of Israel, right? I'm not kidding. The whole article, it starts with, it is a pseudo-historical, pseudo-archaeological, pseudo-religious, like they want you to understand that it's pseudo this, it's pseudo that, and it's pseudo this, and it's based on nationalism, it's based on racism, okay? Only people that... It's only people that are racist British people that want to prove that the tribes of Israel were actually British because they're racist would follow this. Yeah, because you're racist. You're right. Yeah, exactly. Me, who hates the royal family, I'm racist because I want to prove that everyone's actually the royal family. You know, that's just how it is, right? And genuinely, that's the biggest giveaway. Is that on the Wikipedia? It's same with Tartary, right? I was on an article that I can't remember what it was. It was Eastern Tartary. It was talking about the Manchus, and it had Tartary mentioned. And you know what it did? Had it in quotation marks.
Ah, of course.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
yes.
nothing else is in quotation marks. They can talk about
Tartary.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, they can talk about Transbaikalia, which is a place that existed for about 90 years, and that's fine. It's got a
I think it's
link.
coming back, that place.
Well, no, this is the point. If you talk about
That's good
Tartary, oh, it's
Transbaikalia.
Tartary. Tartary.
Tartary. And
No,
thank you
that's
very
the
much to
point.
Setneg for your support. Sorry, just jumping in there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
high setneck as well. But yeah, no, it is. That's how important it is, though. Is that because when you read it, they need to give you that impression in your mind that deactivates that truth sensor, so they will immediately be like pseudo archaeological. You know, it's to give you an impression that the person digging it up has a fake hat on, and they'd actually secretly planting the goods before. You know what I mean? You know nothing about them, but by simply saying pseudo archaeological, you
yeah,
assume,
introduces
yeah,
doubt. Yeah.
yeah, they've got this fake hat, they're, buried in the fucking, and that's the thing, pseudo religious. What does that even mean? Pseudo religion. All religion is pseudo. Like,
Mm.
what's the
What does
original?
what does
You know what I
pseudo
mean?
mean? Like, does it mean like a part
Pseudo
of or
means
like
fake.
half?
No, pseudo means
Or is
fake.
it's fake? Is it?
Yeah, it's well, yeah, it's
I'm
what's
gonna have to
the exact word for pseudo is kind of um
pseudo.
uh,
Studio. Oh, that's studio. Sorry. Um, Pseudo. Define pseudo.
it's like
Translation.
a
False
fake kind of.
examples of work. What? That's not. God.
It's
Why do you have to click on links these
PSEUDO.
days? Yeah, I know. I know how to spell pseudo. Come on,
I
man. I
told
grew up
you.
in Australia. We had a band called Pseudo Echo. Come
Oh,
on.
okay. I just thought it may be
Um,
like, pseudo
uh,
dictionary you're working with.
Pseudo, not what? Not comparable. That's a ridiculous.
That's
Hang
a
on. I'm going
really
to have to
bad
pull up the
description.
Oxford Dictionary
No,
on
no, no.
this one.
It's yeah, pseudo is basically, it means like not correct. So
Yeah,
like
not.
if I do pseudo archaeology, it means I'm digging up things in a wrong way. If I do pseudo mathematics, I'm doing mathematics in a wrong way. If I'm doing pseudo Lucomics, I'm being Luke in the wrong way. And that's what pseudo means. You're just doing it wrong.
Just
So
doing
by
it
s-
wrong.
so by saying pseudo before something, like right, the difference is I could say something is a theory, or I could say it's a pseudo thing. So like I could say Campbell has the theory that Australians were there before, or I could say there is a pseudo archaeological belief that
Hmm.
Australians are there before. And by saying
But
that, I'm already giving you the connotations that it's false, that
that's
kind of
false.
like
That's
official
fake.
people have decreed it pseudo. and
False and
and
fake.
yeah, and that to me was the bit where
Nice.
I was even reading it today and I thought it's too weird. There's nothing else is like this. British Israelism is literally like, no, it's a pseudo, like I'll read it. It's pseudo archaeological, pseudo religious, pseudo this, and it's always racist. It's built on the fact that white people want to prove they're the Jews, and you're like, what? Like literally, I get it up. Yeah, can you hear me? Go.
Ah, we're back.
Oh, there you go. Fuck hell, you disappeared. Can you hear me?
Right. We made it 58 minutes without a glitch. So there we go.
Can you hear me
So
there?
pseudo. Yes, I can hear you now.
Right, yeah. It
Pseudo.
says, yeah, British Israelism is the British nationalist, pseudo archaeological, pseudo historical, and pseudo religious belief. Like,
What?
yeah,
Pseudo,
how
pseudo, pseudo. I mean, come
yeah,
on, man. Grab a thesaurus while you're out there. What are you doing?
literally, yeah, because they want you to, and this is the joke, they also called Anglo-Israelism. This is the joke. It's not Anglo-Israelism because Anglos are the invaders. They're the Germans, right? This is the point. It's
The
not about
Angles.
Anglos. Yeah, yeah,
That the Angles, which are the Anglo-Saxons, which is
yeah,
where
the
England comes
invaders.
from, right?
No,
Yeah,
no, they're the German invaders.
yeah. But is that what England was named after? Wasn't it called something before they got there?
Yeah. So
Then
you've
call
got
it England, and it became
well,
England.
the Britannia side comes from Brutus, right? The
Brutus.
Albion, which was actually named for Scotland, comes from Albine, but so Anglo, it comes from Engel originally, is Angul, a brother of Dan. Dan was supposed to be Dan of the tribes of the Danites, so Angel was called Angel. He was part of the Danites, right? The Saxons are seasons. They are the Xians, as in, like, imagine Chinese Xian, Xian.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Saxians, Scythians, right? They're all part of the same group of Scythians that are all moving over. In fact, you can look at it this way: before World War II, our royal family was called Saxe Coburg or Gotha
Yeah.
Saxe Coburg.
Gothic,
It's his name,
Gothic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Goth.
Gothic, Gotha.
The Goths
Goth.
sacked.
Yeah.
The Goths
There's
sacked Rome in
Visigoths.
yeah. Visigoths, the normal Goths, the Visigoths, they're all Scythians that sacked Rome.
The cure.
Yeah, but right, and
I'll
you know
tell
what's
the
even? Hey,
concept.
look at this.
Wrong
Go on.
Goth. Sorry.
Hey, share your screen right now. I'll show you something nuts.
Did I ever tell you that you look like the lead singer of the Cure? I think I have said that before, haven't I?
I
Robert
don't think you
Smith.
have, but
Oh, come
go
on,
on.
you're definitely Robert Smith. Share my screen to what? You didn't send me any, or did you send me another link?
No. I'm just gonna tell you what to search.
Oh, okay.
Search
Hang
for
on.
Coburg. And you're not sharing your screen, by the way.
Okay. Share screen. Oh. Right, this is you, see? Clearly. That's Leaky Boy, right?
Right. Okay. You've abused your power.
What do you think?
So,
Oh,
go
this one.
search go search
There you go.
Coburg up. I've cut my hair. I've got short hair now. I did that because just search Coburg. Just Coburg. Cobug. Right.
URG?
Burg. Yeah. Coburg. There you go. Right, and then go on Wikipedia.
Oh, Wackies.
Go on your chat. Right, Wikipedia. Click
Coburg,
Wikipedia.
Victoria. That's the wrong one.
Oh, that's
Hang
the wrong
on.
one.
Coburg.
Yeah.
Coburg.
You might have to put Duchy of Coburg. Oh, that is it. Right, click the coat of arms. Click the coat of arms. Click the coat of arms.
The what?
Click the coat of arms.
Oh. What?
Right. That dude is called Saint Maurice or Saint Myrig.
What?
Right. Wait. Just wait. Right. This guy was supposedly a 3rd century Egyptian Roman born in Thebes, who was the head of one of the Thebes Roman armies that went to France to fight the French. Right. Wait for this. Right.
What?
But then upon being told they had to kill Christians, they refused and then got killed themselves. All this, by the way, bearing in mind, was about 50 years before the Romans even legalized Christianity. Mate, right? There is a mystery here about why the German coat of arms of Coburg depicts a very clearly African person.
Dude.
Yeah, right.
What?
And they'll call it, he's the saint of loads of cities. And I'm telling you right now that it isn't just because some people decided that an Egyptian guy from the third. All right, imagine being in the 14th century and we're all sat around and going, what will our new coat of arms be? And you just go, remember that guy from the 3rd century? That what was he called? Maurice, you know, the Egyptian. And we all turn and go, no, because we don't have the fucking internet. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But you're just like, yeah, we'll have that guy. Yeah, Maurice. He was a sick cunt. We'll have his face. And what? It just makes sense. Yeah. Oh, yeah, mate. Right. That's what I just showed you, right? Yeah, and I just showed you the Etruscan, didn't I? Before I know you couldn't see it. That Etruscan picture with the swastikas on.
Oh yeah. The bowl.
Because guess what, bro? It all comes from Scythia. That's what I'm telling you right now. I swear down. In 6 months, you will be sat there going, "Luke was right. It's all Scythia. It is. It's that meme, you know. Always has been." Fuck it. It really is.
Is that right? That's wrong.
What's he doing?
Scythians. I think
Scythians. No,
Scythians.
right. It's even like this, right? You've heard of Nova Scotia, right?
Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
Yes.
Nova
We say
Scythia.
it a bit more eloquently than
Yeah,
English. Nova Scotia.
it's Nova Scythia.
No what?
It's Nova Scythia.
Really? What's no?
Scotia,
Oh,
the Scotia, they're Scythians. Okay, even the Picts, they're
Scot-
Scythians. It's Nova
okay.
Scythia.
So, have you read the Oralinda book? This is a question I ask everyone, right? Because they talk about going into Scotia, and they said they had tin mines and things in there.
Mm.
And Jay Dreamers was doing a bit of research and linking them to the Hyperboreans, like from the north,
Yeah.
which probably doesn't exist in your world. But anyway, I'm going to say it. And basically they came down like, do you think there could be a link? Could the Scythians be you say they are the Tartarians, which could be these people that, because there's all these stories of these
Well, right. Okay.
people
So
that
if you,
came in
right,
and brought technology and all this
but,
kind of stuff, right?
before I answer your question, what I'm going to say is that that dude that you just saw in that picture, right? Okay, he's described as being a Moor.
Yeah,
And
and
I
more.
feel like this is
And
gonna start to click some things in your brain. This the more, right? And if you go into this language, the Etruscan, so the ancient British language, it's preserved in the Welsh, but it's called Colburn. It's identical to
okay,
Etruscan.
is that where the Colburn Bible? Okay, I've got to read
No,
that. The
right. The
Colburn
Colburn
Bible.
Bible is different, but it's
Oh,
connected.
okay.
It's different, but it's connected, right? So Colburn is the language itself, right? And what the official narrative on Colburn is that it was invented by a dude called Lolo Edwards, a Welsh dude in the 1800s. It's nonsense because we found it on cave walls from 300. So like it, that literally it is bullshit, and it's exactly the same as Etruscan. Etruscan is pretty much the same as Pelasgian, and it comes from again Scythia.
Scythian.
But yeah. But the point is, it comes from like the Turkey regions. So
Yeah.
the notion that we're working off is that Troy fell, and these guys went from Troy to Lemnos. Half of them went to Italy, where they formed the Etruscans, and the other half went to Britain. So that's kind of the notion that we're working off with that one. But the idea of the languages being linked is 100% correct. Like you can read these Lemnos stones with Welsh, and then
Yeah,
it goes.
that's what oh, is it Egyptian as well? Is that what Ross was
That's what I
talking
was going
about?
to say. Yeah, Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes. So, in fact, I've actually got his book over there because obviously he passed away in
Yeah.
October last year. I've finally managed to get a copy of his book, and yeah, like this is what's amazing. Like, you don't even need Colburn for this. It's just Welsh. So Welsh is an irony basically, because they made such an effort to destroy Welsh. Right, Welsh hasn't changed that much. Because if you like speak it a lot, like imagine even kids today, they talk words that you don't know, right?
Mm.
Whereas if you have to hide your language,
Oh,
right?
okay, it stays more pure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what people don't understand is that like so many British monarchs tried to destroy Welsh. Writing in Wales was banned for many years. Printing in Wales was banned for many years. In fact, still to this day, it's illegal to speak Welsh in the Houses of Parliament. We have Welsh MPs that aren't allowed. In fact, in the 90s, it led to a hilarious situation where this dude stood up, pulled out a book and started reading from it, and the Speaker of the House at the time yelled at him, you can't speak that language in this house. And he was like, I'm afraid you'll find this is ancient British. And they were like, oh, because it sounds so close to Welsh that they thought it was Welsh and shouted at him. And he was like, I'm reading from an old ancient British book. And
Oh,
these
wow.
people are like, oh, fuck, I know. But this is the point, because the City of
So,
London controls everything, and they aren't British. The City of London are these Anglo-Saxons. They are the Romans. They are like they control it all. All the
and they're
wealth of
different to
Britain.
the Scythians, yeah, the Romans, different lines of people, or the same?
This is what I mean, right? This is where it gets confusing. I think when you go into lines of people, you confuse things because, right, it's like saying if I, if me and my family decide to, rob the co-op down the road or whatever, rob the shop, right? And then
Your
in a
examples
hundred
are
years,
always so violent and
no,
negative.
but as in, in 100 years, do my family still do that same thing? And I think that the point is like, right, by saying, oh, well, we all come from Scythia, as if we're all going to embrace, and go, oh
Yeah,
my,
yeah. My
oh my.
brother.
No, but it was more like what it seems to be anyway. It seems to be the Goths come in and take over, and then 50 years later, the fucking next lot come in, and the Goths are like, oh shit. And that's the
And they're
point. They're
all
not, yeah,
Scythians,
they're not,
basically.
yeah,
All
yeah,
from, yeah.
they're not hugging the Scythian brothers and being like, oh, welcome. They're like, oh God, right? And that's what it seems to
Mm,
be. It's like this, like waves of kind of expansion coming from Russia, Central Asia,
mm.
and that's the thing. Like literally, the Picts are Scythians, the Scots are Scythians, the Welsh are Scythians, the Saxons and the Angles are Scythians, and the more I go into this, every single time it goes back to the Scythians. I'm like,
Wow.
it is nuts, man. It really is, because like you just don't even know. So this is why I think that maybe some kind of event happened, which meant that the only survivors were in Siberia, and then they've moved out from there, possibly,
Mm.
and taken the stories with them.
Or they've come in from outer lands, maybe. Mm.
Good idea too. But I mean, well, one thing that I really roll with is this moving pole idea. Okay, so we know that magnetic poles move. So I mean, have you ever looked at the magnetic pole movements?
I didn't know it was a movement. Can I join it?
No, but if you want to bring up your screen and even just bring up the Wikipedia to see how much the North Pole has moved, I'm not kidding. Your subscribers won't believe how much magnetic North has moved. And
Oh, he's put out a challenge, guys.
no, seriously, because it's important. Because even though science says that changing of magnetic poles isn't that important, because it's different from your actual pole, it is, because as somebody that's making a map, it's very different if your north is showing you in Canada as opposed to showing you in thing. So look at what's it called? It's the North Pole movement, basically. I don't know what you want to search.
27 descent.
Get a movement map, basically.
Um,
North Pole movement map might be a good idea. Yeah. Polar
didn't
drift.
realize
That's
the
the
thing
word.
is
Polar drift.
polar drift.
But movement
Polar.
map will work. But yeah. Yeah, you get it up. You'll see, right? Basically, there you go. That picture on the right that was on Wiki. If you go back.
This one?
No. Oh, yeah, that's good. But go back. You want to see the one that was on Wiki, because it's a really good
Oh,
image.
this one.
That one there, yeah. Click Wiki down below. And then, yeah, click on right now. Right. So you can see. So look, start at 1632 down there. Look. See the way 1632 moves? It goes down to your left.
Yes,
Yeah. And then it
down.
starts going further down. And
It's
then
like
at
a treble clef.
1859, it turns around. Do you know what that year was?
It was 1859.
Yeah, do you know what that year was?
1859. No,
The,
tell me, mate, what happened in 1859?
there you go. That was what I needed. Well, tell me, like, it was the Carrington event.
The Carrington event. And what, say you, was the Carrington event?
The Carrington event was where a giant solar storm or coronal mass ejection fired so much energy at the planet that our magnetic shield couldn't really handle it, and it all fried. And at the exact moment, the polar drift literally changed and decided to start moving north, and it started doing so pretty normally until 1994, ironically the year I was born, when it
Ooh.
suddenly started picking up pace like never before, and the South Pole exactly the same. You wouldn't believe it, but the South Pole has already left Antarctica.
Wow, the Arctic Circle.
I'm not kidding.
Well,
Go on a different tab and look up the South Pole polar drift. See where that shit is. People like this. You don't even know about this. They tell us it's not a big deal.
no, that's the top.
You having trouble. But Antarctica.
Gosh, back to wiki. That's
Go back and type Antarctica after it. See if it comes up. Or what you might have to put is put magnetic South Pole today. That'll show you where it is.
Is there a magnetic South Pole?
Yeah. So basically, you've got right real north and real south is where the actual. Make sure you put magnetic, by the way. Real north and real south are obviously where our planet is supposedly pointing, and magnetic is obviously the magnetic north. It's completely different. So they say that magnetic north and magnetic south can move around and it doesn't cause any problems, which it has. There you go. That was the picture. I think you just clicked off it. Go on wiki down. South magnetic pole, maybe. You did. It was on.
This one.
Yeah, that first picture, you can start to see. Yeah, there you go. Look, you see, it's already right. It's already left the continent of Antarctica. It's in the water now. You've seen, Dutch Sense. I'm pretty certain he might have done a video on it, but he might not have. If not, I'll post a link to one of the clips. But basically, as you can imagine, the South Pole is supposed to be at the South Pole, and like they do move around a bit, but these things have suddenly just decided we are leaving, and it looks like.
I don't blame them. This is a crazy world.
What it seems like they're doing is they're both going to a point in the Indian Ocean, and at that point they'll do a crossover and they'll swap. Okay.
So this is the whole magnetic flip thing, you reckon?
Well, go back to the North Pole on North Pole tab, and we can see the speed that's changed, right? So look at 94 to 2001. So that's only 7 years, and then another 6 years, right? And then 2010, 2015, 2010, right? I'm not kidding. Look up magnetic north today on a different tab. Just put magnetic north today location or something. And what people don't realize is that when our ancestors were trying to make maps, their North Pole would have been in a different place, and it might not have seemed like that much, but that slight difference when you're drawing a map might change loads of features, because your north is over there and not over there. And
so it's moving through.
Your screen is frozen, by the way, if you're clicking stuff.
Oh, is it? Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me. I'll stop sharing, and then I'll. Oh my god! It keeps opening up new tabs. I've got no idea where I am. Where am I? There. Hello, everyone. All right,
hello.
Let's try this again. That one. Is it that one? Now I've got 50 million tabs. This one is this. That's the biggest I can get.
I'll just say, Cam, I'm really happy you decided to, carry on doing videos with me.
Oh, thank you.
I was really worried that the drama might have turned you off the old Historia.
The old Historia. It made me historical, man.
You can't escape this information.
I can't escape it.
No, but yeah, exactly right. So is that the North Pole? 50 miles.
No, but that's
year,
going
right?
across the Arctic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is what I mean, right? Right. This, it's gone. See where it was, right? This is more towards America, right? And
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
This is Greenland and Canada and
and
America.
the thing is you've got to
Russia.
look at the straight line as opposed to what it was doing before. And obviously we
Yeah.
don't have a lot of data to suggest whether that's normal, but it doesn't look normal, does it? It doesn't look very normal compared to what we were dealing with, to, you know, have it kind of moving in this small area and then suddenly like kind of start
Well,
running
I
the other
mean,
way. Yeah,
at
and
least it's got
that's
some direction in its life now. This
uh,
one just looked like it didn't know what it was doing. It was just cruising around.
well, no, exactly, right. And you know, for me, who is very mainstream, to sit there and say maybe climate change is actually a fucking pole deciding to flip, because exactly that might be what they do. You know, tell us that it's all part and parcel of what's going on, and it's all our
Hmm.
own fault, so that we don't panic. You know,
Well,
everything we
not
witness.
your fault.
Well, no, because you've been warned about it. You know what I mean? So if it
Hmm.
happens, you're like, oh, we know, we already got told about this. You know,
Hmm.
we fucked up the planet, so this is happening. Whereas really, the poles are
This
changing.
is cyclical. Yeah, everything cycles.
Like
It's
for
interesting.
instance, like I'm convinced that Siberia, when all this, when the original Tartars were coming from it, I'm convinced that it was a different climate than what it seems like.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got the woolly mammoths, right, and rhinos with tropical vegetation, you know, in their
Well, I
stomachs, not
mean,
undigested from Russia.
that's the biggest one, is the Siberian frozen animals. Yeah,
Mm,
they've definitely been flash frozen. They've got
that's frozen.
undigested food in their stomachs and their mouths, which
Mm,
yeah, it means that the freezing has
was
happened so
instant.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
literally chewed. Yeah.
exactly, which means that at some point Siberia might have been like your tropical climate.
Mm,
Which this is the bit that's connecting it up, is it something recent that has been taken advantage of by you know, global powers to reassert an empire or whatever? That is one possibility. Or is it genuinely something like, you know, this is connected to what we consider the floods and all that, and it's happened
mm,
6,000 years ago and changed? You know, what I've seen in one of the historians that I follow, he says that water levels were much higher up until even 300 AD because of you know, certain circumstances. And then he believes a comet hit in 562, I think, or, and you know, and even that changed stuff. But even, you know, you take away that stuff, it's just like too much has gone on. And for me personally, when I read all this stuff about people coming from the north, it's always people coming from the north, and I'm like, well, why would
mm.
humans be coming from the frozen dead ass sections?
Well, clearly it wasn't. Yeah, frozen, right? This is, and that's the next question: is was there ice at all, or are we talking about the ice, the icy frozen bits moving? Because at the same time, we've got maps of Africa that, you know, it's
Well,
green, right? Green and lush with.
this is what I was getting at with the magnetic north versus true north. So, what scientists will tell you is that magnetic north is nothing to do with true north, which, I mean, it does make sense. Like, if it, I know a lot of you guys will disagree with this, but if you just imagine a ball, you know, just imagine that factor. Just the magnetic pole moving doesn't change the orientation of the ball. What changes the orientation is, you know, it requires some kind of external factor, like something hitting it or something, you know,
Mm.
and
Oh my God, the chat's losing it, Luke.
they're losing their
Bring
minds.
it back,
But the
bring it
point,
back. Stop talking about
bring it back.
balls.
Oh, my
So,
balls, right?
which ball?
Right. So, the point is like magnetic north is supposed to be something different, and they
Yeah.
scientists will tell you, it's, you know, even if magnetic north's over here, it doesn't change this and that and the other. But the concept that other people are applying is that when that change happens, the shielding around the Earth, that magnetic shielding,
Mm,
becomes unstable, and that's what
yeah.
causes the issues. Is that, you know, normal sun beams coming in suddenly are hitting us with the full UV, and you know, we've got no protection because our shielding has gone down. And like I say, guys, I am not a scientist. I'm not fucking coming at you with any of it. This
I
is
was
just
just
what
thinking of
the
Star Trek when you were talking. The shields are down. Raise the shields, Scotty.
No, but that's what I'm saying, is the theory behind it is that, and then there are actual theories of the you know, the pole moving itself. Like people will say that ice ages aren't an ice age. Like the ice didn't just come from the top and cover the planet. It was just the pole moved, and then the pole, pole moves to Europe, then obviously we're frozen over. If the pole moves to Canada, they're frozen over, and that is, but like I say, that is disconnected from magnetic. So yeah, it is a difficult one, but it's something you should.
Because then we have the mini
really
ice age. We're told there was a mini ice age, right, across Europe.
What was that?
Was that 1600s is what I'm thinking, but I could be off by 400 years.
As far as I'm concerned, I know the last ice age, like, supposedly finished around, like, I want to say 12,000 years ago.
That's the ice age, yeah,
or 12,000 BC or something, yeah. And they carry. Well, I think like the alternative idea is that like about 6,000 years ago, about 6,000 BC was a flip, which is like the biblical floods and all that.
Melts the ice,
yeah. But again, like me personally, I have no view on it because I also kind of could see something of happening much more recent. Do you know what I mean? So like I genuinely don't have an opinion on that. This is the point. Like I just research and
see what happens.
Yeah. I do have opinions on these things, but they're just opinions. They're not like thingy. But anyway, we're on an hour.
It's coming up, right? Like there you go. Yes, that's right. Luke is a Globe Believer, guy. So if you'd like to go and subscribe to his channel and check out more of his talk, yeah, you can. Ancient Historia.
Just do history, all right? I'm not a scientist.
He just does history, but this is fine. We don't judge here. We don't judge.
Well, if it helps, right? If it turned out the world is flat, this would be my response. Cool.
Exactly. Right. So
yeah, no, literally, like.
Go across his channel and leave him comments proving that it's flat. No.
Hey, have you ever seen Sassy the Sasquatch?
Sassy? No. Was she sassy though? That's what I'm wondering.
I've not seen Sassy the Sasquatch. That's terrible. No. Right. Okay. In one of the most recent episodes, he sees like an alternate. Right. He sees an alternate reality where the Earth is flat, and he goes in. He's a Sasquatch. He's like, "Oh mate, what do you think your planet is?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a fucking flatty." Right. You need to go see it. Trust me. If anyone hasn't seen Sassy the Sasquatch, go watch that right now.
There we go. Hello to J Dreamers too. Welcome. And hello to everyone.
I just saw a good response, right? If anyone doesn't listen to my information because of the shape of the Earth, then like that's their own fault, isn't it? Like you're missing out on.
Well, this is the thing, right? We're told, right, that there's some truth. It's like the yin yang. Even people, even shills will give you 20% of the truth. So there you go. You can get 20% of the truth. No, that's mean, Campbell. Don't say that. But this is the thing. Yeah. If you're going to judge any information, and say, well, they say this is wrong, so clearly everything else they say is wrong. Well, it's kind of cutting your own throat, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know what, though? I see it that way because, like, obviously people in our audience won't remember the 1600s. But in the 1600s,
I remember
no, I'm not kidding. The Roman Catholics,
like a kilt on and lived in this broken down castle.
Well, right, I'm not kidding. In the 1600s, the Roman Catholics would cut your head off for saying the world is round. So in the 1600s, I actually bet a lot of you guys would be sat there going, "It's fucking round.
It's round, man.
Right,
it's round.
It's round. Don't listen to these Romans.
It's round. Got to be round."
But like I say, mate, this is why I don't talk about the shape of the Earth, because it doesn't matter what the shape is, it matters what happens on it, and that's what I'm here for, is talking about the history and the countries, and I'm happy to be wrong, because that's what it is. It doesn't matter. So if you're thinking you're trying to convince me, I don't care. it doesn't matter. And
really want to be wrong.
And that's the thing as well. You know what? That might be your test, is getting over those differences, because there's so many people that come at me with those differences, and it's like, yeah, okay, we disagree, but I'm providing you research. If you want that research, you have to accept that we disagree on some things. And if that is a barrier for you, and if that means that all my information is invalid, then okay.
Then so be it.
Exactly.
So be it, indeed.
Anyway,
all right, now
somehow Campbell, I love you.
We've jumped from like 2 minutes before an hour to 2 minutes before an hour and a half. I don't know how that happened. Like I literally was just like, oh, it's an hour. And that's
to be fair, mate, it's been a while since we talked. And
you're so interesting that
you don't have to sound so sarcastic about it.
You're a vault of information. That wasn't sarcasm.
You're looking like an Australian
you're
Gandalf
so
right now.
interesting, mate. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Yeah, God, that's
Okay, no, that was too legit. That was really good.
That's
But no, hey, thank you. I hope we can do this again more
yeah,
often,
man.
because you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just happy to catch me and had a spare hour and a half apparently. So yeah, we thought we'd jump on.
I mean,
but
well, to be fair, I feel like we should explain that, you know,
Goblin.
for me, it is 5:50 a.m. on a Saturday,
Exactly.
Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday,
Sunday
and we
morning.
did this, because it's been well over a month since we've done a stream together, and we were chatting, and I was like, "Let's do it now," and he's like, "What? Like right now?
Right now?
Right
He's
now,
like,
in
right
front of
now.
everyone."
He's like,
well,
I'm like,
they're all
really? He's like,
watching. I was
if you
like,
don't do it
let's
now, I'm going to be asleep for the next 48 hours.
No, in fact, no, he was recording it. He was like, "Oh, you want to go live?"
I want to go live. I was recording it. So,
no, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you, everyone in chat, for spending some time with us. 200 of you. Appreciate you all. Please give me a like, subscribe, share this around, all that stuff. And the link's not there now, but I will go and put it in if you're watching this in the future. Ancient Historia, go and check him out. Link below. Give him a subscribe. Check out his stuff. Lots of good research on Scythians and Gog and Magog and Nubian pyramids and interesting stuff that you don't find anywhere else. So stay awesome all. Thanks again, Lukey, and we will talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
It's time to kick it old school.
Play.
It's time to kick it old school.